President Zelensky, as you know, comes from a background of being an actor and a comedian, but tonight finds himself in the most solemn of duties for any national leader to actually have to defend their country from an invasion from an imperialist power.
This is certainly one of the most somber days in really the history of the modern United Kingdom. I think certainly the way that Queen Elizabeth will be remembered will be as the constant presence through a process of enormous change. Boris Johnson was simply unable to moderate the worst aspects of his personality that meant that he consistently failed to meet the most basic standards required of the office of Prime Minister.
And at the moment, she's a leader that really is without credibility, without authority, and without any kind of democratic legitimacy. And I think at the moment, most governments midway through their terms are simply planning, in terms of months or years, but actually this is a government that's trying to cling on really on a day-to-day, moment-by-moment basis. Clearly, Western, economic dependence upon Russian oil and gas has not provided any kind of leverage that it can use to change Russian policy. And I think, it's certainly very much to the opposite. And I think, the predominant view amongst Western policymakers is that, China will try to do the same with its economic dependency that it's built up from the West.
The extent and the combination of strikes that we're seeing in critical sectors really haven't been seen since the so-called Winter of Discontent in 1978, 1979, which is leading to the comparisons between then and now. As you sort of mentioned in your very comprehensive report, we're seeing strikes in a whole range of critical areas to do with public and private life, postal workers, communication workers, NHS workers and teachers in Scotland. And so really when you have that combination of things that impact so many different areas, you have a potential for not only disruption, but actually chaos across the country. I do think there will be sustained support for Ukraine. And I think you'll also see continued improvements in the kind of weapons that the West will provide to Ukraine, because ultimately, the West knows that any kind of military defeat in Ukraine would be considered such a sort of catastrophic blow to the morale of Western democracies. Because, as far as the West is concerned, this is a military invasion, it's a war of aggression, and it's completely unjustified.